There is a live action R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin movie in the works. Few things that I think are slightly concerning from my eyes is it's got Walter Hamada involved. I don't think he's particularly great, quite frankly.
Ding.
And then, it's with Paramount. Paramount has done some good things lately, though. I think it's an odd one to do.
Yep.
Quite frankly.
Wait, an odd story, Nate? An odd story to do, or just for Paramount to be doing it?
Just Paramount, an odd thing to do in general.
Okay.
I disagree, because this is exactly what I said they should have done. The
Yeah,
problem we have here is Walter Hamada.
Well, and also the writer.
Yeah, and the writer who has no experience outside of writing comics, which could be a good or a bad thing. I don't know. But yeah, so it has me worried.
What do you think? What do you think? Because you're the guy that knows.
Walter Hamada's got me worried as fudge. Like, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. This is the same guy that brought us such wonderful hits as Birds of Prey, The Flash, Shazam, Shazam 2,
Black Adam,
Blue Beetle, Black Adam. Like, this guy, sure, he's done the Conjuring stuff, but I don't think that was him so much as it was what's his face. James Wan probably had more influence over that stuff.
Atomic Monster, yeah.
And whoever else. But like, this on the surface is what Paramount should be doing. I've been saying this for a while. It's like, do a version for the kids, but also do a version for the adults. And The Last Ronin is a great place to kind of start that idea, or at least do something that you know is going to make some money. I'm impressed they're even thinking about going with R rating. If they were even to be smarter than this, they will get everybody who is available from the original film, the 1990 movie, actually do the turtles, plural, because there's flashbacks. But the main story, for those who don't know, is the last turtle of the group is out to basically enact revenge for the death of his brothers. That's the basic outline for the story. He's the last one left, and yeah. Anyway, so that's why it's called The Last Ronin. Right. So you mainly, in the movie itself, would be cheap. See, that's what I was saying too, is you only have one main turtle through most of the movie. He's covered up in all this other stuff. So the only parts that are really going to be anything you got to worry about are the mask, mainly. Right. So, and even if you do it in the old Jim Henson style, or even bring Jim Henson Company in to do it, that would be even better. Just get whoever back for voices, because they're all still alive. Get Judith Hoag to play April O'Neil again. She's age appropriate. That's the other beautiful part, is just about everybody. I mean, even though Casey Jones isn't in the movie, find a way to shove him in somehow with Elias Cortez in some kind of cameo, just to connect this to the 1990 movie. The fans will love it. And if it's R-rated, even better, because then we know it's for adults. The kids aren't going. We're going to, it's just for us. And that's fine. We can deal with having Mutant Mayhem on this side and Last Ronin over here. And then that means we might go back and, go back to some other stories in between at some point. That'd be great. On the surface, it's a good idea, but I'm worried and concerned that Walter Hamada and the writer are not up to this. And Paramount has not done right by the Turtles in a while. So I am worried. I said it would have been better as like a Netflix series, though, too. That's the other thing. So I don't know. On that part, I'm excited for The Last Ronin, but I'm very cautiously optimistic to extremely worried. So
is it going to be actor in costumes or animated?
Yeah, live.
I don't know. My suggestion is to do that. Just go back to the 1990 movie, get Jim Henson to come in and do the masks, all that business. Don't even worry about CGI to help. You don't need it. We already know it will work just fine because we've seen it before. Set it in that same universe. You don't have to establish anything else. We already know the turtles. People can go back and rewatch the original 1990 movie to get context as far as where they come from. That's all you need. You don't even have to acknowledge any of the other films. It doesn't matter. So
it's pretty dark. I mean, I'm surprised that they're going with, I know that as far as the money goes, it was the biggest selling IDW graphic novel for the
and that's why it's happening. Let's be real.
I think that's why they've decided to do it. But really, as a choice, you mentioned something about maybe being able to do something else if this does well. This almost seems like a last hurrah, like a Hail Mary, in my opinion, because this is so dark. I mean, they're all dead. He's talking to their, spoiler alert, he communicates with them. You don't know if it's memories or ghosts, and you don't know which turtle it is because he has the weapons of everyone. You don't know until the very end. It's really a good story, and it's one that I think people who aren't steeped in the Turtles lore can enjoy, because I'm not an avid Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reader. But I enjoyed it. And of course, I'd seen some of the movies. I'm not as big a fan as Tom, but it really just seems almost Hail Mary. Like, look, let's do this. We've got the license. It makes sense with the numbers. But I don't feel like they would be able to do anything.
Sadly, Paramount owns it. That's the thing. It's not just that they have the license. They actually own
Tom
the
Cruise
visuals
bailed
of
on
that,
Paramount recently. So I don't know that Paramount's making good business decisions on anything lately. So
Well,
I
they're
don't
up
know.
for sale, aren't they? So,
And I think that it would have been great on their streaming platform, but that's going belly up too.
Right.
Very
yeah, I mean,
interesting.
I don't have too much really to sort of chuck into this one, really. My knowledge of it's quite limited. I'm looking at it more from a market perspective, though, is that it's a big risk, I think. It's a big risk. I don't know whether it be
Is it
successful or
though?
not.
Here's another reason why, and I'll tell you why I think they're doing this. The Turtles made over $1 billion in merchandising last year.
Yeah.
Guess what a big portion of it was?
What,
Sure
the
as hell
older
wasn't
stuff?
Mutant Mayhem. Yeah, because they made
Mm.
most of that before Mutant Mayhem came out.
I remember, yeah, we covered this. Or
Yeah.
part of it
So
anyway,
I think they noticed that, oh crap, 90% or not that much. Okay, let's say 60% of our audience or better is
yeah.
30 and above.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this would certainly be, a sort of a case study for other studios. Then, if it does well, more power to it, because then you
Yeah.
get more things like this, which isn't, it's not necessarily bad for sure.
They'll take more chances, definitely. That's true, because you can have two different ones, right? You can have your more hardcore R-rated version of Batman or whoever, and you can have the more
Yeah.
PG-13 friendly version. Yeah.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, we lambast studios for not taking risks. This is a risk, so actually, kudos to Paramount for doing it. I mean, argue whether it's a risk or not, but it is certainly left field by from on face value. So kudos to them doing it for sure, because I think that's great.
Oh, I hope it
to a
does
non-fan, I can see that. Yeah, like from a non-fan perspective, because Chris is right. This is the end of the road for the OG Turtle crew, right? Like they do extend the story past this. Like I could give a crap. Like that's my problem, and I don't know if they realize that or not. And that's where I said, if this is successful, that's where you backtrack then and you do a Netflix adult version of the Turtles series live action or something like that. And you have both of them at the same time going on. And I think you're right, Nate, because if this is successful, this can show the other studios that, oh, we can actually have an adult version and a kids version. Which guess what? They used to have that. It was called Saturday fucking morning cartoons.
With Deadpool being a hard R, this Deadpool Wolverine movie, and this thing could be as big as Sin City when that movie, speaking of Robert Rodriguez, when it came out, it could be a very cool spectacle. And you're right, if it does well, it could turn into some other ongoing series of sort of the more adult geared adventures of the Turtles. But this reminds me a lot of what was that Frank Miller Batman, The Dark Knight Returns? Which was sort of this future story where Batman was retired and came out of retirement, and because all the Robins were dead, and it was a dark story. And obviously they've gone on beyond that. I think that came out in the late 80s. But it could be cool. I would like to see it done well, but I don't, you're right. It's a red flag with Walter Hamada, but he may just be a figurehead at this point and not directly.
And that's his production company.
I know, but still, I mean, if he's got people that care about the property and he just trusts them, we'll see.
True.
We'll see.
I wonder more where this puts the Colin Yost movie. For those who don't know, the
reboot
was supposed to be doing a live action version that just
that was ages
I haven't
ago,
heard anything about. Yeah, I haven't heard shit about it for a while, so it makes me wonder what's going on there with that. And if this is going to take its place or if it's something completely different.
Yeah, I don't know, because I remember reporting on that. That was a long time ago now, to be fair. So I have no idea. Culture, I haven't heard about you on this. What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, it's an easy sell to me because I love the original films. So if you're going back to doing that, if that's and that kind of is suggested by the visuals that we've seen, I mean, I'm very intrigued, about pursuing that idea and seeing it on screen. But what I'm not in, look, you're gonna get the same answer from Tom and I about this Hamada guy. He does not do anything well on his own. And I'm pretty sure it was basically Juan that kept everything going on the other side of things with Atomic Monster. I don't really feel like outside of like making sure people get checks, he's very useful to anything. He's not, I'm not, what type of producer he is, basically going to be showing up in this film, whether he's a good one or a bad one. And I fear that he's a bad one and we're going to end up with not the best kind of thing. I mean, did I hear right? One of the writers is like a Rick and Morty person.
No, he's never really worked on anything but comic books.
Okay. All right. Well, then
no, he did Boy Kills World. What did he do? He did the Child's Play movie. The reboot Child's Play film.
Oh, hell.
Did you not know that?
No, I just looked at his resume. I didn't see that pop up. What popped up is that he's worked on a couple of Ninja Turtle video games, and he's worked on a bunch of the comics. So it's kind of like, okay. I'm not gonna freak out until I can't judge him. Knowing that though, the sad part with this is though, Nate, and I think you almost agreed with me on this. The Child's Play remake isn't bad so much, other than when it's just trying to remind you that it's Child's Play. When they erased that idea and tried again with Megan, it actually worked, because that's what I think we both said the same thing then. It's like, this is a great movie if it wasn't Child's Play.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
I love the ending actually too, where they actually kind of took the idea a little further with Chucky being able to control things. Like that's when okay, this is a unique idea. They should have done something more unique with that than trying to make it a Child's Play reboot. But anyway, that being said, so in that case, I'm not so worried about the writer. I'm still worried about Hamada and who they're going to get to direct. That's my two main concerns. Because the story is already pre-written. Unless they extremely deviate from what the story is, then
well, that's the thing, isn't it? Who we'll have to see. We will have to see. It's interesting. It is interesting. We'll keep you up to date on this anyway, guys, as it develops through it. But yeah, TMNT Last Ronin, R-rated live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. Interesting. That is for sure. We will shuffle on now to something